The river that stopped flowing on Judgment Day practiced the river had always been the pride of the village of Nurabad. It ran like a silver ribbon through fields of wheat and mustard, whispering stories to children who played on its banks and carrying prayers from dawn to dusk. People said the river had never failed them, not even in the harshest summers. But one morning, as the sun rose pale and uncertain, the river lay still. No sparkle, no sound, just a wide, empty bed of cracked earth where water should have been. At first, the villagers thought it was a trick of the light. Some blamed the heat, others the season. Children ran ahead, expecting the water to appear around the bend, but it did not. Farmers stood with their tools in their hands, staring at the dry channel as if it might suddenly breathe again. By noon, fear spread faster than fire. Wells began to sink lower, animals refused to drink the muddy remains, and leaves curled in the fields. The village headman called a meeting near the mosque. People gathered in restless circles, speaking over one another. One man accused the upstream village of stealing water. Another said it was a test of patience. A merchant quietly slipped away from the crowd, his eyes lowered. A woman clutched her child and whispered that she had seen this in a dream. But no one had answers. As the sun leaned westward, an old man named Baba Rahim arrived, leaning on a simple wooden staff. He was known for his wisdom and gentle words, though he rarely spoke unless asked. The noise softened when he stepped forward. He looked at the dry riverbed for a long time, then at the people, one by one, as if weighing their hearts. "This river," he said calmly, "has flowed through your days and nights. It has seen your prayers and your quarrels, your charity and your cheating. Perhaps today it is asking you to look at yourselves." Some scoffed. Others frowned. The headman asked what he meant. Baba Rahim replied, "Practice the day of judgment for one day. Speak only the truth. Return what is not yours. Forgive those you have wronged and ask forgiveness from those you hurt. Pray as if you will stand before Allah tonight. Do this sincerely, from dawn to dusk." A murmur passed through the crowd. One day sounded simple, but the weight of it pressed hard. Still, desperation is a strong teacher. With fields dying and animals weak, the villagers agreed. They would try, just for one day. That night, many could not sleep. A shopkeeper counted coins by lamplight and felt a knot in his chest as he remembered the times he had adjusted the scale. A farmer stared at the ceiling, recalling a boundary stone he had quietly moved years ago. A young man rehearsed words he had never said to his brother after a bitter fight. The village rested uneasily, as if holding its breath. At dawn, the call to prayer sounded clearer than ever. People came early, rows forming in silence. Tears slipped down faces unused to softness. After prayer, something unusual happened. The shopkeeper unlocked his door and placed a sign outside saying that anyone who had been shortchanged should come inside. The farmer walked to his neighbor's land and returned the stone to its rightful place. A woman knocked on her sister-in-law's door with trembling hands and asked for forgiveness for years of harsh words. The day unfolded slowly, like a careful step across thin ice. Children were told to speak honestly, even if it meant admitting broken cups or unfinished chores. To everyone's surprise, they did. Parents listened without shouting. Friends confessed small lies and found relief instead of anger. The young man went to his brother's house, heart pounding, and spoke of jealousy and regret. His brother listened, eyes wet, and pulled him into an embrace. At the marketplace, prices were fair. Measures were true. A poor widow received her due without having to beg. A man returned borrowed tools he had kept far too long. Debts were acknowledged, if not fully repaid, with promises spoken openly and witnessed by others. The village felt different, lighter, as if a dust had been wiped from the air. At midday, Baba Rahim walked along the dry riverbed. People followed at a distance, watching his slow steps. He knelt, pressed his palm to the earth, and whispered a prayer no one could hear. The sun burned overhead, and still there was no water. Doubt crept into hearts. Some wondered if honesty was enough. Others felt fear that their repentance was incomplete. As afternoon leaned toward evening, a sudden cloud passed over the sun. A cool breeze stirred. A child shouted, pointing to the bend of the river. At first it seemed like a mirage, a shimmer of hope, But then a sound rose soft, unmistakable. Water crept forward, thin as a ribbon, then wider, gathering strength with each breath. Gasps turned into cries of gratitude. People fell to their knees. The river was flowing again. By sunset, the channel filled, murmuring like it had stories to tell. Fields drank deeply. Animals lifted their heads. The village gathered once more near the mosque. Not in panic this time, but in awe. Baba Rahim stood among them, eyes reflecting the river's glow. "Remember this day," he said, "not because the river returned, but because your hearts did."
That night, lamps shone warmly in Nurabad.
Laughter returned, softer and kinder. Some villagers feared that tomorrow they would forget, that habits would creep back like shadows. Others resolved to hold on to the feeling of standing before Allah, even when the world tempted them otherwise. Days passed, and the river continued to flow. Not everyone became perfect, but many became mindful. The scale stayed honest more often than not. Apologies came sooner. Prayers felt closer. And whenever someone strayed, another would gently remind them of the day the river stopped, and how truth had brought it back. The children grew up hearing the story not as a miracle of water, but as a miracle of hearts. They learned that Allah's signs appear in many forms, and that sometimes the dry places are within us. The river flowed on, steady and patient, a living reminder that, when people choose honesty and repentance, blessings find their way back home. Moral: when people live with the awareness of the Day of Judgments, seeking truth, returning rights, and seeking forgiveness, Allah opens paths of mercy. And even the driest hearts begin to flow again.